Okay, well, welcome back to my next chapter reading. It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I feel the need to do it again. This will be chapter 2 of Miscruft Recovery. And just a little thing, I'm messing around with OBS now, and also I'm going to split these videos up into like 10 to 15 minutes so that I don't get too tired. And hopefully that works out. We're gonna try it out. Basically, I'm just gonna read until I get tired, and then after that, I'm just gonna stop it. I'm gonna come back and do a part 2 video for the chapter. Hopefully that's all right, and hopefully OBS sounds better than Bandicam was. So let's get started. Okay, here we've got an introduction to dogfighting. The sport of dogfighting is one of the most popular in the world. It is practiced at all levels, from amateur teams to school teams, to professional clubs and national teams. Dogfighting is practiced in over 140 countries around the world. In a 2023 international census, dogfighting was listed in the top 3 most popular sports around the world. The sport has an immense following. In the 2021 World Cup Finals, hosted by Russia, over 4 billion people tuned in to see Germany take on the US in a thrilling match. Very much like its sister sport, tankery, the art of dogfighting originated in Japan. After the end of the Second World War, decommissioned military armored vehicles and aircraft were reclaimed by the public and used recreationally. Thus, the sport of oh no, oh my lord, Sensha, oh no, I can't do this. This is not gonna work. Senshadu, oh, you know what? Senshado, oh, fucking hell. I'm not even. You know what? Fuck it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna worry about it. Fuck it. I'm just gonna skip. And in that word, we're born. Over the next 70 years, the popularity of the two sports grew until they were world renowned. Each sport is generally practiced by one of the two genders. Males often choose to participate in dogfighting, whilst females chose to take part in tankery. However, it is not against the rules for boys or girls to compete in either sport. Typically, the two sports are practiced separately. However, matches involving both aircraft and armored vehicles have existed for decades and have proven extremely popular amongst the international community. So, in case you guys haven't noticed, I've got a hiccup problem right now that I'm trying to fight, and I've also got a coughing problem that I'm also trying to fight at the same time, and it's great. It's great. It's is the greatest thing to have when you're trying to read stuff. Also, I'm trying to read slower. What I think what happened in the first video is I was trying to read too fast. I think I was too nervous. I was trying to read too fast, and that's why I got tired. So hopefully reading slower conserves my energy a bit, and I don't get tired as quickly. We'll see how that goes. So, moving on. Both dogfighting and tankery have a rich history filled with tradition. An international culture has been formed around the two sports. People from all over the world can bond and celebrate their similarities and differences in the sports of dogfighting and tankery. Professional tank crews and pilots are viewed as gods amongst the international community. Hundreds of celebrities can attribute their fame to either dogfighting or tankery. The sport is also highly practiced amongst schools all around the world. There are very few schools on the planet that don't have either a dogfighting or tankery program. While some schools view these two sports as a casual recreational activity, there are many schools around the world that treat them with immense seriousness. There are many such institutions that have been performing these sports for over 70 years. Many of these schools base their entire system around the sports of tankery and dogfighting. An example of one of these prestigious schools is the Munich Academy for Boys and its sister school, the Black Forest Peak Girls High School. In the event of a joint tankery and dogfighting match, these two schools will join forces to form a team. The same will apply to the hundreds of other brother and sister schools around the world. As a result of this, these schools will often train together. This gives the boys and girls in their respective schools, the opportunity to socialize and make new connections that they would not otherwise make in their regular school life. There are many school competitions and tournaments that exist around the world. These tournaments can range from the very minor, example, borough competitions. I believe that's what that is. Borough, I think that's how you say that. Borough competitions, regional leagues, to the major worldwide school events. Example, national competitions, continental tournaments, international championships, and the school's world championships. The school's world championships is held every 2 years and is one of the biggest sporting events in the world. It incorporates both tankery and dogfighting, and all schools with over 5 tanks and 5 aircraft are allowed to compete. The qualifiers, I said qualifiers, wow. The qualifiers will take place in each respective country. Schools residing in the same nation will battle it out to find out who will be able to represent their country in the World Championships. That's a pretty cool system. I like that. All matches after the qualifiers are aired live on television globally. The 2023 Schools World Championship was viewed by nearly 2 billion people. The winners of this competition are treated as national heroes in their home country. It is not heard of for tank commanders or pilots to attract fandoms consisting of hundreds of thousands of adoring fans. It is every aspiring pilot or tank commander's dream to win the World Championships for their school, their country, and their teammates. Safety is the #1 priority in the sport of dogfighting. Every measure must be taken to ensure that the pilot is protected to the highest possible extent. As a result, in school dogfighting, no planes devised or constructed after September 2nd, 1945 may be used. All weaponry and armaments made or designed before this date are permitted as long as the particular weapon or armament does not put the lives of pilots at an unnecessary risk. All planes are to be fitted with cockpit windows made of DFA-approved heavy weaponry-proof glass. Alongside this, all cockpits must be coated with a flame and shrapnel protective substance called dysporium. I believe that's what that's called, dysporium, in order to protect the pilots from harm. It is against the rules to use the substance on any other part of the aircraft, as it would give certain pilots an unfair advantage. One of the most important parts of safety protocol in the dogfighting is the ejector system. A highly advanced ejector seat is to be installed in every aircraft participating in the sport of dogfighting. Any pilot caught flying without such a system installed can be subject to a court hearing and a potential ban from the sport for neglecting proper safety measures. In the event that a plane is shot down, the pilot will be ejected from the aircraft, a parachute will be deployed, and he will return to the Earth's surface safely. Despite all of these safety precautions, fatal accidents have been known to occur in dogfighting. Every pilot must recognize that whilst the sport might be exhilarating, it is also dangerous. Very true. Very true. Another thing you should probably know is that ejection seats are actually dangerous. They can actually kill you. And I mean, more often than not, you'll be fine if you punch out, if you eject from your aircraft. Most of the time you'll be fine, but there's still a chance that you can like break your neck. You can get whiplash the shit out of. Maybe the canopy won't blow. You know, the canopy, the glass covering, won't blow, and you can actually like hit your head on it and die. Shit like that happens. I mean, if any of you have seen Top Gun, that's pretty much what happened to Goose, if you remember. If any of you watched Top Top Gun remember what I'm talking about. That's pretty much how Goose died. Is I think he hit his head on the canopy and that killed him. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's very dangerous. And I am surprised. I'm not as tired as I thought I'd be. I think it's because I'm calm and I'm not freaking out and getting nervous. And I think that's helping. Let me make sure I'm recording. Yes, I am indeed recording right now. Ooh, that's good. And I'm still fighting the hiccups, which is great. So if you hear me pause at random intervals, I'm trying to fight hiccups. Yeah. Yeah, the hiccups are there. Yeah, I tried eating some soup to calm down my throat because I was coughing a lot, but gave me hiccups. That sucks. James hated flying through clouds. The gray mist seemed to close in on him in a hypnotic fashion, wrapping him up, choking him. An enormous crack rung out through the sky as green tracer bullets whizzed past him, temporarily illuminating his cockpit a ghostly green. James looked back. The BF-109 was still trailing him. "Connor, do you read?" James spoke into his mask. "Yeah, mate. That was one hell of a dive you did there. Bet the G's hit you like a motherfucker." I like that. I like that line. "You bet, man. I'm still recovering." The groan of the 109's engine gaining on him made him almost shiver. "Connor, he's still on me. I can't see you. Fire a couple rounds." That's actually interesting. Like, I forgot to write about that in my first chapter. Pilots, especially like modern fighter pilots, if they need to like figure out where their buddies are, they'll pop off a flare, like just one flare. That's like a good like visual to get like a visual on your on friendly aircraft. And I forgot to add that detail in the first chapter of my story, but I plan to add that sometime later. So that's pretty interesting. I'm assuming these guys, these World War II aircraft, obviously don't have flares because obviously they don't have to deal with missiles, you know. So, you know, instead of that, they fire off a couple rounds, as you see here. And I really like that. I really like that detail you put in there. So yeah, James complied, squeezing the trigger to let loose several crimson tracer bullets. The entire cloud was momentarily blood red, giving it a hellish aura. "You got me?" James asked. "Yeah, bud, I got you. Start climbing. Let's destroy this cunt and regroup." I really like this dialogue. I'm really digging it. "Are you sure your Hurricane can handle this, Connor? You look pretty banged up back there." "For fuck's sake, James, have I ever let you down?" James pondered for a second. "Well, there was that one time with the St. Gloriana girl who you said... Jesus fuck, are you seriously bringing that up now?" Despite his present situation, James laughed into his oxygen mask. "I'm just fucking with you, Con. You've never bailed on me. Bringing the crowd up to you right now. One wiener schnitzel coming right up." James shouted into his mask. Connor shouted into his mask, excuse me. James grinned. "Come on then, mate. Let's see how high you can go," he whispered to himself. He pulled back the stick and began to climb. The 109 followed. As he exited the cloud, he jerked his stick to the left, rolling the plane so Connor could get a shot on the enemy. Ugh. Oh, there's a hiccup coming. It passed. Okay, good. James waited for the sweet sound of sharpened British steel ripping through soft German aluminum. British steel. Wasn't that an Iron Maiden album? Or song? I think it was. I don't think I listened to it, but I think I saw it somewhere. By the way, there's an Iron Maiden song called Aces High, which was about the Battle of Britain. And I think that's just fitting to bring up here, you know, because World War II planes, you know, Britain versus Germany, you know. I thought it'd be appropriate to bring that up. Just saying. Okay, where was I? Okay, brew through soft German aluminum. It never came. Connor's voice appeared over his headset, distorted by some external roaring. Connor, out. Connor. James, out. I'm getting these two mixed up. It's not good. That's not good. Okay, I'm starting to get a little tired. A little tired. Connor was bellowing into his mask, each word punctuated by white noise. Connor, what is it? You're breaking up. Trap. They couldn't get... Connor, what is happening? Waiting. It's for me. I'm assuming his radio's breaking up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. A sickening feeling began to search through James. He felt bile rise in his throat. Connor, who? James was now yelling into his mask, desperately looking around him to see where the 109 chasing him had gone. Connor, who? What the fuck is going on? Out of there, now. Connor, what are you... Schneider! Ugh. The sound of Connor's ejecting system igniting drowned out his bellows. But not before James heard that dreaded name. Reinhard Schneider. Ugh. The hiccups are hitting me bad now. I think the hiccups are realizing I'm actually doing a good job reading through this. And it wants to fuck me up. And as I say that, here's a cough coming. I'm going to try to move the mic away. Well, fuck. I hope you didn't hear that. I tried moving the mic away. Hopefully that was enough. Alright. Wow. What a kill by Munich Academy's Reinhard Schneider on one of St. George's Hurricanes. That makes his 5th kill this match. What do you think of that, David? Well, Larry, that was quite some flying right there. I'd say Schneider is the most skilled pilot I've seen in school dogfighting, period. I don't disagree, David. Well, the International Dogfighting Championships final here in Great Britain appear to be coming to a close. St. George's have suffered massive losses. They only have 1 aircraft left, and believe it or not, it is James Wright, the 15-year-old, is having the match of his life. He's done very well so far. He got a fantastic kill on a Focke-Wulf and performed some impressive maneuvers to shake off one of the 410s. All eyes are on him now. James Wright of St. George's School representing the United Kingdom versus 10 Munich Academy aircraft representing Germany. I reckon everyone in Great Britain right now are praying this kid can pull off a miracle. Well, Larry, that's gonna have to be one hell of a miracle because Munich Academy have regrouped and all 10 of them are flying in formation towards James's lone Spitfire. I'll tell you one thing, David. I would not want to be in his shoes right now. Too right, Larry. Oh my god. that is unfair. They are pulling some like Imperial Guard tactics on him right now. That's a 40K reference, if you don't know. The Imperial Guard just overwhelm their enemies with sheer numbers. If you wanted to know the meaning behind that. Yeah, can I do this entire chapter in one blow? Maybe. You know, let's try it. I'm not that tired. We can try it. It had been approximately 3 minutes since he had first caught sight of them. 3 minutes since he had first caught sight of them. 10 Munich Academy aircraft flying in formation, heading directly towards him. As soon as James had caught sight of them, he had slammed the throttle up to maximum capacity and sped off in the other direction. What else could he do? There was simply no question of him attempting to engage the Munich aircraft in his present position. He would be torn to shreds. Whilst he had the speed advantage on the Focke-Wulfs and the 410s, the 6 remaining Bf-109s were gaining on him at a terrifying rate. He reckoned he had around 2 minutes before they were in firing range of him. If he was going to do something, it had to be before then. He racked his mind for any possible inspiration. All of a sudden, he had an epiphany. Ugh. Whew. I'm not as tired. I do need a water break, though, so excuse me for a few seconds. I'm going to turn the mic away, so hopefully you don't hear my water bottle. Yeah, I think me being calm is helping a lot, and me not trying to read so fast. If I slow down my reading, it helps. James Edgar Johnson. Whoa, that guy is the same name as him. Same first name, anyway. I didn't realize that the first time I read the story. He murmured to himself. He remembered the long nights in his early days where he'd stay up till 3 a.m. Whoa, computer, really? Right now? Computers, what the fuck? Get out of here. Why is that doing that right now? That never does that. What the fuck? Where did that come from? Okay, hopefully that never comes back. I'm not sure what that was, but... Alright. Ugh. Damn hiccups. He remembered the long nights in his early days where he'd stay up till 3 a.m. reading accounts of the Battle of Britain and World War II dogfighting. James Edgar Johnson had been one of James's heroes, as well as being his namesake. Oh, okay, that's why their names are the same. Okay, he was named after him. All right. Message received. Understood. Roger that. He was one of the most lethal Spitfire pilots, not pirates. What the fuck am I thinking of? Pilots in the entirety of the Second World War, amassing upwards of 40 kills during his service. Really? Why are you doing this right now? There. Fuck you. Get out of here. Why is my computer doing this? It's as if my computer knows I'm recording right now, which is just bullshit. Yeah. Alright, where was I? 40 kills during his service. Right. He had a habit of using his aircraft's fantastic ability and agility, not ability, fantastic agility and climb rate to test his enemy pilots to the limit. James knew exactly what to do. He had no time to waste. The 109s were practically in firing distance of him. He sucked in air through his oxygen mask, steeling himself for the pain of the inevitable G-force. Now, these hiccups are not making this easy. The hiccups are actually more of a problem than fatigue right now, because I do have some tiredness, but the hiccups are way worse of an issue. He turned to look at the 6 109s tailing him. Come on, mate, you got this. With that, he pushed the stick forward, entering a dive. His Spitfire rapidly began to pick up speed. James kept an eye on his altitude gauge. He intended to level out at around 800 feet. Oh, he's on the deck. He's on the deck right now. Holy shit. Oh, is he on the deck right now, or is he heading toward the deck? I'm pretty sure the deck is under 1,000 feet, if I remember correctly. Because everything above that is like Angels 2, Angels 3, Angels 30, you know? But I believe like under, like, it's either like 1,000 feet or lower, or under 1,000 feet is what on the deck is supposed to be. But, yeah. Anyway, I'm sorry about the rambling. He spun his head around to check if he was being followed. As he expected, the 6 109s were tailing him, also engaged in a nosedive. He entered a cloud layer. It's a good way to lose people. He was getting close to the ground now. 13,150 feet. Yeah, Like the advice I gave Miscruft, that's like really specific. 13,150 feet. Like you can just say some shit like Angels 13, and that will work just fine. Like, if he wants to give like precise measurements like that, fine, cool. I'm fine with that. But I'm just saying, Angels 13 might be easier. You know. For those of you who don't know, Angels 13 means the altitude 13,000 feet. That's just NATO terminology. You know, angels equals altitude, basically. And yeah, I'll stop rambling. I'll get back to the story. Hopefully I can finish the chapter. He checked his speedometer. 856 kilometers per hour and increasing. He steepened the dive. He felt his torso being crushed against his seat once again. Ugh. 908 kilometers per hour. Breathing suddenly became a laborious task. Yeah, for me too. Because these damn hiccups won't leave me alone. The Spitfire shot through the cloud layers like a bullet through foam. 7,000 feet. Without warning, he emerged from the misty embrace of the cloud. The ground seemed to spin in a sickening fashion, looming up towards him. Such a sight caused James's stomach to churn in a most unpleasant fashion. 5,000 feet. He could see the white cliffs of Dover perfectly now. Further inland, the Shard, London's tallest building, was visible to him. Man, I've always wanted to visit the UK. Like, that just sounds like a nice treat, you know, to visit a place like London or, you know, Dover, any of those places, man. That'd be such a cool trip. Maybe one day. He decided to take the 109s to town. Pulling up ever so slightly, he positioned his Spitfire so that it was on a direct trajectory for the capital of the United Kingdom. What a match this is proving to be. I'm going to be honest, David. I thought this was all over, but an unexpected turn of events. James Wright has entered a nosedive and is currently heading for the city of London. Well, Larry, either the kid is nuts or he's a tactical genius. Either way, he's managed to separate 6 Munich Academy BF-109s from the rest of their squadron. The numbers are still incredibly uneven, but he's in with a much better chance than 5 minutes ago. Of course, the London airspace is usually very high density. Oh, I don't doubt that. All the air traffic? Oh my god. In terms of air traffic, but all airports in the surrounding area have been closed for this final. Oh, well, thank God they were thinking ahead. I can't, like, being an air traffic control person during some shit like this, if the air traffic hadn't been stopped, that must have been a nightmarish job for them. Yeah. So the boys have the skies to themselves to battle it out. Let's have a look at the scenes over in London. Huge crowds have gathered in the streets to witness the very rare sight of a Supermarine Spitfire pursued by 6 Messerschmitt Bf-109s. This is truly incredible. All right. James's Spitfire shot past. Oh God. No. Why? Oh my God. Why do you do this to me? Twickenham Stadium? Twickenham? Is that Twickenham Stadium? Is that right? Oh God. God, even the fucking English names are screwing me over now. This is oh God. The Munich Academy boy's hot on his heels. He looked down to see numerous crowds cheering in the streets, cheering him on. James began to grasp how important the situation at hand was. There were millions upon millions of people watching him. You know, the best thing you can do is to get that out of your mind and just focus on the mission. Because, having like, thinking of the people watching you, It's the same thing, kind of like being like really high up on a cliff and looking down. It's that same kind of mentality. Like you'll make yourself nervous if you look down. The same way, if you make yourself nervous if you acknowledge that there's millions of people watching you. The best thing you could possibly do, from what I've heard, is just to block all that shit out of your mind and just focus on your task. That's just what I heard was the best course of action. Anyway, back to the chapter. I've been rambling a lot. Hopefully you don't mind that. If he could pull off something special, he would be nothing less than a celebrity. He lowered his aircraft further. He was now at 600 feet. The houses below him were nothing more than a blur. He didn't think he'd ever flown this fast in his life. He's pretty much buzzing all those houses down there. That's kind of funny. He was approaching central London now. All the landmarks he knew so well appearing before his eyes. Shit, dude, you're in central London? Don't hit a fucking building. I haven't seen very many pictures of central London. I don't know if they have a lot of high-rises, but if that's the case, that could be really fucking dangerous, flying that low. I mean, he better have his shit together if he's flying through shit like that. I mean, I live in Seattle, dude, and we have skyscrapers here. Like, I can't imagine trying to fly through that shit. I mean, I can't even fly in the first place, but if I could fly, I can't imagine going through that shit. God, I'm rambling so much. All the landmarks he knew so well appearing before his eyes. He scanned the horizon, looking for one construction in particular. There it was, Big Ben, the enormous clock tower situated next to the Houses of Parliament. He would begin his climb there. All of a sudden, green tracers flew past. He spun his head around. The BF-109s had gained on him massively. They couldn't be more than 100 meters behind him. He cursed into his mask and began to take evasive maneuvers, rolling the plane right and then left. The engine screamed a protest as he raised the throttle. Big Ben was rapidly approaching. Just before he careened into London's most famous clock, he pulled up. Okay, I am pleasantly surprised at myself. I made it through that entire chapter without getting tired. And yes, I did have some hiccups going on. And yes, I had to stop for a water break. And yes, I did ramble a lot, but I'm not that tired. Of course, I am a little bit fatigued right now, but I'm not super tired. Which is incredible, which is great. And yes, I know the chapter is actually kind of short, but I did have to go through all these explanation paragraphs. And honestly, this was the hardest part because these giant paragraphs here, it's kind of hard to follow along to make sure I'm reading line after line correctly. Like, that's why if you heard me pause, like, after I read a line, it's because I had to make sure I was reading the proper next line because I wasn't sure if I was reading it in order correctly. But yeah, I'm surprised at how not as tired I am. I think that's you know, a multitude of factors. One factor is the chapter's really short. The factor two is I'm trying not to read as fast. I'm trying to remain as calm as possible. I'm not as nervous. And three is that well, maybe there isn't a 3. Maybe there's only 2. Okay, maybe I'm more tired than I thought. I thought I had 3 points to make, but apparently I only had 2 points to make. So, yeah, the chapter's shorter, and I'm more calm, and reading slower, you know. Yeah, so, I hope you enjoyed this. Man, if I just rest for an hour, maybe I can come back and do at least the half of chapter 3. Let me take a look. How long is chapter 3? Let's take a look. Yeah, maybe I'll split chapter 3 into 2 parts. It's still part of the prologue. And then there's like the proper, you know, chapters coming up. Huh. Oh, I actually know what a Württemberg is because so I'm actually playing through Napoleon Total War right now. In fact, I'm actually doing videos on Napoleon Total War, which I'll upload very soon. I'm actually doing a UK campaign, surprisingly, so look forward to that. Yeah, so that should do it for Chapter 2, and I'll come back for Chapter 3, hopefully in a little bit. I'll let my voice rest for a while, you know? That should be good. So, I'll see you then.